Good morning. How you doing? Happy FriYay. It is not Friday Junior. It's actual FriYay. Yes, the day before the day I don't come to work for 2 whole days. Very exciting. I'm looking forward to it. It's not that I don't like being here. It's just I like being there a lot. What are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about what we talk about all the time, and I should obviously introduce myself. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable at the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada, and this is Ask a Traffic Cop, where you get to ask traffic and police questions of me and whoever's sitting near me, because that happens. We're told Sergeant Murray Campbell will be joining us this morning. He is in the office and excited to say hello to everyone. Additionally, we have Aaron Urquhart, parking enforcement officer extraordinaire, who is also in the vicinity and available for parking-specific questions. So if you've got questions, we've got answers. That's what we do here. Before we get into it, I want to talk about Vision Zero. It's one of those things I do every time I go live. And what is Vision Zero? It is a team of officers that goes and, well, they give people tickets for breaking the law. That's their whole focus. And they focus on the big four. Big four are speeding, aggressive driving, distracted driving, and impaired driving. Yeah, those are the big four. Those are the big four driving behaviors that lead to serious injury and death on our roads. So when people say, you said yesterday that license plate frames are illegal, why aren't more people getting tickets for them? Because we focus on the offenses that lead to serious injury and death. We do charge people for violating other things, but the focus is always going to be keeping people safe. Good morning, Tracy Bell, who says, Happy Friday, Sean Q. and Aaron. You forgot about Murray, but mind you, no one's actually here but me right now. I had to look off into the distance to see if I saw them. They're coming back. They will be here, and I will make sure that they know that you said hello. Leo wife, my wife, good morning, good morning, good morning. I missed everybody because I always leave before they wake up, so it's nice to be seen by you, even though I don't get to see you. I did get a very, very sweet message, a text message from my daughter this morning, my eldest, who wanted to make sure I slept well and wanted to make sure that I was doing well. And she sent me a little picture, and it was very cute and very sweet. And then I don't know if you have an Apple HomePod. Anyone has an Apple HomePod? There's a cool feature. It's called Intercom. And I then sent an intercom message and probably freaked the whole house out as I said, I love you, to everybody in the house. Which I got confirmation as texts started rolling in that it actually worked. Kayla Draconis, greetings and salutations. Rob Baker, good morning. And Big Jeff Fresh joins us through Twitch. Happy Friday morning to everyone here and to come. Thank you very much to everyone who's joining us. And we have lots of folks that are regular contributors, participants, part of the community, and we are a community. We're answering your questions. This is a show all about you. It might be my face on the camera, but it's all about you. Okay, let me see if I can change the angle. There we go. Okay. If you're asking us questions on, what is this thing called? TikTok. Yeah, that thing. And this thing, that Instagram. Yeah. And then if you're on any of the other platforms, we'll get to how to interact with us. If you are on Instagram and TikTok, use the Q&A function. That's the question mark with the bubble. That makes sure I see it. If you ask a question in chat, I won't see it, and I'm not trying to ignore you, but I'm not there to see what you're doing. Let's see here. Pro Football Craze, good morning from Twitch. Question from Urban Orbit, how's the diet going? I've maintained my weight. I have not continued to lose it because I've been bad. I have not been actively doing the low carb thing. I've had sushi a couple of times this week, and I really enjoyed every bite. But I've not gone up, but I've not gone down. And I've been talking about doing a program. We've got a gym on site. I plan on taking my lunch and going to actually work out, because usually I just work through my lunch. So now I'm going to actually work out. So, yeah, and take my lunch. Yeah, weird. Okay, what are the speed limits on dirt roads? Is it a road or is it a private piece of property that has a road on it? Because if it's a street, if it's a highway, if it's owned and managed by the city, it's going to have a posted limit. Or if it doesn't, it's likely going to be 50. Now, dirt roads, we don't have those in Toronto, so I don't have a lot of experience with them, and I honestly I don't have a good answer for you. But if the biggest thing is if it's private property, it's not going to have a speed limit that I'm aware of. other than the fact that you should not be stunt driving on it. Are electric scooters legal on sidewalks? Depends on what you call an electric scooter. Are you talking about an e-kick scooter or an e-bike? Those are not legal. Well, first of all, e-kick scooters are not legal in the city of Toronto. It doesn't matter if it's on the road or on the sidewalk or on in a park. Can't have them. If it's an e-bike, they're not allowed on the sidewalk. And if you're talking about an electric scooter like a personal mobility device used for people who are having mobility issues, well, those are allowed on the sidewalk. So it depends on what you're asking. Please clarify so I can answer appropriately. Yeah. Okay. What do we have here? What is this? Does crime ever go off background check? Does crime ever? Oh, do you mean if you're convicted of something, does it leave you? Will you be less noticed if you're applying for a job and a background check is done? Unless you receive a pardon, it's going to be there, from my understanding. And I am not a professional in the background check business, but my understanding is that it's there forever, unless as part of your permanent record, unless you apply to have it removed, and you need to meet certain criteria to qualify for a pardon, of which I don't actually know what the qualifications are. Are Borla attack catback exhausts illegal? I have no idea what a Borla catback exhaust is, and I will answer that in a second. And so the deal is that any exhaust system that you install in your motor vehicle has to meet the requirements in order for it to be legal. If it doesn't meet the requirements of law, it's not legal, and then it wouldn't be legal. Yeah. So find out what you buy before you, or find out what the qualifications are, what the standards are for something before you buy it. Very often, exhaust systems that are purchased aftermarket will state right on them whether they are legal for road use or not. Especially with motorcycle cans, you'll see right on them, meant for track and so on. They have to be muffled if they're going onto a car that has a requirement for a muffler. So there's I hope a sufficient answer for you about your Borla question. And Leo Wife, who is also a member of the Toronto Police Service, says, yes, it'll show up in your background, your history, your criminal offenses or criminal history or convictions will show up on your along your background. Yeah, it shows up. And let's see what's going here. I need some water. Today's a water day. I don't know if we're really dry. Water. Okay. Is there a horsepower? What the heck? This is not the answer or the question that I selected, but it is the answer that has popped, or the question that has popped up. How much do tickets go up by if not paid in time? I don't know if they go up. I think for some offenses, I think there's for parking in particular, I think you have a two-stage where it goes up if voluntary pay time, and then I don't know about parking. And Aaron didn't come back, so I don't have an answer for you. In terms of regular tickets, the ticket is the ticket. In terms of how much you have to pay if they add interest to it, I don't know. I don't know. No uniform today. No, I'm not wearing my uniform. I am wearing my TSV. What is this called? A polo? I think it's a polo. So this is our official TSV polo. I think they're pretty swank. And where's the question I actually wanted to answer? The one, not that the no uniform one wasn't the one I wanted to talk about, but I wanted to press a button and horsepower cap. Here we go. Weird things going on with TikTok for days now, where I press one question to display it on screen, and if you're on Instagram, you can't see what I'm doing there, but I'm putting the question on the screen. You press one and it gives you the wrong one. Big Jeff Fresh says, theme of the week, TikTok, choose random questions. Yeah, for real. Okay, so Mustang E-Boy? Okay. Is there a horsepower cap for a street vehicle? Not that I'm aware of. I am not aware of a horsepower cap. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but if the vehicle is safe for the road and is certified for road use, then as far as I know, you're good to go. I don't think that any particular horsepower maximum exists. But if someone knows of a different answer to that question, please let me know. Okay. Can TTC buses get a ticket for traffic violations? Absolutely. Drivers are drivers, and they're all responsible for their activities. It doesn't matter who you are or what you're driving. If you break the law, you may have a consequence. Now, I will add to that police, fire, and ambulance do have certain exemptions. For instance, using lights and sirens. They're allowed to go through intersections, for instance, with their traffic clearing equipment on, their emergency lights and siren. That's a permissible exemption. Additionally, police are allowed to exceed the speed limit. So, it does appear to, and they're additionally also allowed to use handheld communication devices like radios and cell phones and computers. Those are exemptions from the law, so they're not responsible. They're still responsible for what happens when they're driving, but they're not breaking the law when they're doing it. So just to be, full disclosure. As a minor, am I able to access my own mugshot? Are you looking to create an album? What are you talking about? I don't know. I don't know what the requirements are. You should talk to the Freedom of Information folks at headquarters, and they may be able to help you out. Do you feel like a hero after Ottawa? I wasn't in Ottawa. Can you get a ticket for going no through traffic? So you're disobeying a sign at that point. So I imagine by disobeying the sign, yeah, of course, because a sign is giving you rules, you're not following the rules, and there's an offense, which is a blanket offense that says disobey sign. Sign says you can't do something and you do it. Yeah, you can get a ticket. It's $110 and 3 demerit points, if I'm not mistaken. Are retired Ford Explorer police interceptors legal? Yes, as long as you're not putting lights and sirens and trying to put yourself out and represent yourself as a police officer, which would be criminal, then yes, you are entitled to own a vehicle that was once owned by a police service. You may not want to because we really use them a lot, 24/7. They are very well loved. Now, they are serviced on a regular basis, but they are loved or not loved. They're driven like, like police cars. Okay. So I know many people, and I actually owned an a Caprice Classic. I owned a retired police vehicle with an Interceptor logo on it and all. It was cool. It sucked gas like nobody's business. It was a hog, but it was a fun vehicle. It was my winter beater when I was, riding motorcycle more. Okay. Oh, we got this mechanic Buck is spamming with questions about Ottawa. Again, I was not in Ottawa. Okay. High beam hazards. Can I get stopped for warning? If you're talking about warning of police officers, ahead because you're trying to protect police officers, again, why does I press a question, I get a different question? Okay, we'll come back to that question. Construction workers stop people all the time. Why? This is likely in relation to discussions of whether or not civilians can control traffic. And the answer is construction workers working on road repair on the road are allowed to control traffic when they're flag people. They have authority as flag people if they can. Of course, they're certified in it, and they can stop traffic. They don't direct traffic through intersections. They can't do that. But they can stop people for that safety and that traffic control. It's different if they're just randomly stopping traffic. It can't be done. It has to be in relation to a construction or repair on the road. And by the way, Sergeant Campbell just arrived. So as I'm looking over, it's not because there's no spider crawling on my screen. Although I did kill a spider this morning.
I'm just here and I'm agreeing with Sean.
Oh.
So yes, traffic control person (TCPs) do have the authority as long as it's road work that they're doing, road building, road repair, road construction, or somebody appointed for the act.
Special constables,
things like that. A fire department personnel, whether it be Toronto Fire or volunteer firefighters and all that, for the purposes of creating a safe environment for them to do some of their work, or anybody that they or the police officers ask to do it.
So if you're acting on the authority, not that you're deputized, but if a police officer is directing someone to do something, they're acting on that police officer's authority. And Aaron's back too. Now I forgot the question that Aaron, we had a question for Aaron, but I don't remember what it is. So hopefully that's the answer for you. So essentially, you may notice that there are police constables working, doing paid duties, hired by sites, construction sites and whatnot, to control traffic. And that's because their people can't legally control traffic in relation to a off-road site. So if they have a building that's being constructed, they can't come out and stop traffic because the traffic is not being stopped for road work. It's for private property work, and it's different. And thank you, Q, who reminded me what the question was. Does a ticket collect interest if you don't pay it? For parking, or is there a two-stage pay now before a certain time, and it's one price and it goes up if you don't? And actually, are you aware of anything for that?
think I know the answer to this. Yes. So now that the city has taken over processing of parking tickets, I believe that is the case. If you do not pay them, they will collect interest. So pay your tickets. Because, you don't have to go to court anymore. There's no trials. It all goes through a officer through the city, through email. So, the processing has changed since 2018.
And that is specific to parking tickets, because
Parking tickets, yes.
Now, when you say there's no court, that's because you operate on viva voce evidence, which means the evidence taken at the time by the officer, and you have photos and all sorts of stuff. It's a little more comprehensive than what was before. So the process has changed. Actually, in British, I think it's BC, they've gone that way for traffic offenses too. They've gone viva voce. There's no trial. You want to talk to somebody, you talk to a prosecutor, and you have a discussion. I don't think it goes to trial anymore, and people are very upset about it over there.
I miss court, I'm not going to lie.
You miss going to court?
I do miss going to court.
I actually love testifying, and I think it scares people when I get excited that I'm having a trial.
I never lost a trial, I'll say that.
Does the station have a gas pump where they get gas? Yes. I believe every station in the city has a gas pump. No? Some stations do not. I'm getting the some don't, but most do. Many do. Some.
Unfortunately, our gas pumps here have to comply with a whole bunch of safety rules, just like a gas station would. Because of that, it makes it kind of expensive. There are certain areas where we cannot dig into to put a storage tank underground. So, especially downtown divisions, they usually come down here to traffic services to fill up.
So, and we also provide fuel services for other, like ambulance, will fill up here. So I've always worked at a police station that has a pump. I've never been assigned to one that doesn't. So I just make the assumption that they must all. But that is not the case.
That is not the case.
Okay, I have learned. Is there ever going to be a digital driver's license? Well, I can tell you that there was discussion about having a digital driver's license or ID in place by the end of 2021. You may have noticed it is now 2022 and we do not have them. That's because it was a good plan. It wasn't able to be put in time. So there's discussion of having it done by this year. But when it happens, we'll see it. We'll believe it when it actually arrives.
I honestly believe it's going to happen. I honestly believe that they should do it the right way, though. Make sure it's secure. Because as we know, things can be hacked. Things can be faked.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, and that's why they can't rush into it. There are states in the USA that have it. It seems to be great, but they're breaking new ground. They're pioneers, and we don't know what will come of it. But it's certainly coming this way, and technology will make it. And when it gets here, you will have it too. Yeah, I'm looking forward to having one less thing to carry. Okay. Oh, and just for anyone who's wondering, for the time being, you must carry your actual driver's license while driving. Okay, what is this? This is Adith says, I would like to work for traffic service. What would be the first steps if I should probably take towards getting the job? Well, traffic services is a division or a unit within the Toronto Police Service, and it's the citywide traffic unit for the city of Toronto. And to become a member here, you must first become a police officer. To do that, go to our website, www.torontopolice.on.ca/careers. We're not only hiring police officers, we're hiring special constables, parking enforcement officers. There are many, many job opportunities. So if you'd like to join a wonderful team, a good job in general, you should check us out. But becoming a specialist in traffic is something that you may or may not get an opportunity to do once becoming a police officer. Certainly if it's your goal, you can try to get here, but you may find yourself at a police division for a number of years, learning how to be a police officer first before transferring. Sometimes we take new recruits. It depends on the time and whether or not there's space here to accommodate or there's a need. Yeah, it's different. It's different every time. I started off in a police division. I transferred here when the opportunity came about, but there are others who did start here. Okay. Driving 45 on a 40, do speed cameras take your photo? Oh, depends on the municipality. I don't actually know a hard and fast number, an actual factual number for Toronto, but I imagine that if you're speeding, you might get a ticket if you're speeding.
You know what? Don't use any leeway as your excuse for giving it a try.
Yeah. 5 over and the camera doesn't turn on doesn't mean the speed limit's 45. It means that
the speed limit is still 40.
Yeah.
You should be doing 40. And you know what? There could be municipalities out there that are doing it at 1.
Yeah, and they'd be totally within their right to do that. If my G2 is expired as a result of COVID, may I still or can I still take my G? If your G2, G1, M1, or M2 expired from anytime from March 1st, 2020 onward, it is still covered until the 31st of December of this year, 2022. I say that in that way because I have been known to say 2032, and I've also been told I'm not authorized to give that 10 years extension.
That would be awfully nice of you.
You're currently valid until the end of the year to get everything done. I don't know if there'll be any further extensions because we obviously know there's some backlog, and I would make steps to take care of that sooner rather than later. Pet is on your lap when driving. Is it legal? No. At very least, it's drive while crowded. However, it may also be careless driving, depending on the observations and perception of the officer. It is not legal. It's not safe. It's not safe for you. It's not safe for the pet. And it's not safe for everybody else on the road because you're dealing with a pet instead of driving. So don't do that. Not legal. There's also an issue of airbags exploding, driving pet parts into your parts. It's bad and messy.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes when there's an emergency situation, animals can sense that as well, especially as you're screaming or taking evasive maneuvers. And to have a pet sitting on your lap while you're trying to do that would just uncover you. It just wouldn't be safe for anybody.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things going on there. How long after getting my G1 can I get my G2? Fantastic question, and that's not what popped up on screen at all. So we'll continue with the answer, and I'll come back to this one afterwards. Okay, the deal with a G1 is once you get your G1, if you don't take any approved training, you have to wait 12 months. If you do take an approved course, it is reduced to 8 months. So that is a good thing. But definitely, I endorse taking a driving school, approved driving program. That's a good idea to be safe. Can you get DUI if you're drinking in a field work? I don't know what a drinking in a field work is. DUI is for driving a motor vehicle. I'm assuming you mean driving in a field with a work vehicle. Any motor vehicle anywhere. It's not private property. It's not specific to the road. So yes, you can be charged criminally for being in control of a motor vehicle on private or public property, on road or off. Is it illegal? Sorry, is it legal to have tinted plate covers? No. It is not legal to have tinted plate covers. We put a video about that yesterday. And here's something that is coming up. Apparently, we have some numpties who are spamming and suggesting that people do dangerous things in their motor vehicles or not in their motor vehicles. Please stop. I'm not watching it, but I'm getting messages from people who are saying that you're being numpties. Numpties is also not a nice thing, but it's the nicest way I can say that you're being naughty. So don't do that. We're gonna block you if you are spamming. So please stop. Let's see here. What is your favorite offense to catch and why? It's split between speeding, impaired driving, and distracted driving. In fact, I like them all. If I catch you doing something, it's like winning the lottery because to me, any offense that I catch and write a ticket for is making the road safer. So I'm not picky, but I do in particularly like stunt. So I say speeding, but stunt in particular, because that's a big one. Distracted driving and impaired driving. So I like arresting people, and I like making the roads safer. Let's see here. Is eating while driving considered distracted? No, it's not. At least not in Ontario. I've heard other provinces may consider it distracted. When it comes to Ontario, simply eating doesn't constitute distracted driving because distracted driving is very specific to using a handheld communication device, a handheld entertainment device, or seeing a screen of an entertainment device or either made visible to the driver. If it's simply eating or drinking, it may be constituting careless driving because you're not focused on what you should be doing. Let's see. We're back to this whole thing. Is it legal to high beam or use hazards to warn drivers of cops stopped? So I tried to answer this before, but it chose the wrong answer and put it on screen. So let's get back to it. If you're warning people to slow down because you want to make sure it's safe for police officers, well, that's nice of you. If you're trying to tell people to slow down so they don't get tickets, well, It's not nice of you because you're contributing to unsafe roads. We want to catch people for offenses like speeding or what have you, because we need to record who's doing this, so they will lose their license when they're driving unsafely and making our roads unsafe. So you're contributing to unsafe roads, and at very least, you're temporarily changing their behavior. We'd much rather catch them. So it's not illegal, but it's not a good thing to do for your community, which is what we're there to make the community safer. Let's see here. Oh, Caitlin, good morning. Happy FriYay, big time fan, first time caller. Should we be signaling in a roundabout, and how? That's a great question. I love this question. I like roundabouts, but they confuse people. And in the right situation, they're really safe. And when people don't know what they're doing with them, they kind of make it unsafe. So when you are entering a roundabout, there need not be a reason to signal, because you are going with the flow of the road. The road goes there, and that's where you're going. But you do need to signal your intention to leave it. That allows other vehicles who are waiting to enter and yielding to you to know what you're doing, so they can be notified of your intention to move and turn. So you should be signaling your exit. But thank you for asking. It's a great question. We see here it is, hey, Sean, I know I'm late. Wishing you and all the Toronto Police Service a happy, good Orthodox Easter in advance, and that you all stay safe and keep up with the great work. Thank you very much. LinkedIn user who is anonymous because you got your privacy settings up. I can't see your name. But they're coming from LinkedIn, so we know they're awesome. Okay, let's see here. Akela Draconis says, wouldn't it be better to catch plate offenses? Wouldn't that mean there were no more serious offenders out there? I think that's what you mean. I'm not sure what the context of your question or your statement is. Akela, give me some more light as to what you're talking about. I want to know. I like where you're going. I just don't know where you're at. Boop the Snoop. Q says, press that screen. If you are on TikTok or Instagram, please tap the screen until your fingers go numb. Let everybody know that you are happy and interested in what's going on here, and that they should be here too. We've got about 4,800 likes, and that's great. It just tells the algorithm that we're valuable. And in terms of sharing, if you share our content, if you share our videos, if you share our lives, that also helps tell people that it's worthy of viewing, and it's a personal reference. It's you saying that you think it is. So they will obviously hold you in higher esteem because they will be thanking you for the reference to such great material that we create here. Only a little bit of baloney. Okay, so Akela is saying that, okay, so go after all the plate offenses so there will be no more serious offenders out there. Interesting. He's saying that maybe I should be handing out more. In terms of the favorite ones, they're obviously the big prize win. You know, someone's doing something really dangerous. There's major gratification. Do I go out and target license plate frames or license plate offenses? If I can't read them, I stop people too. But is it my favorite thing to do? No. But I appreciate what you're saying. If you go after everybody so their license plates are clearly visible, then people don't get away with other things.
That could be true.
It's broken window policy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. It's important. All the laws are here for a reason. So I don't disagree with you. Just, favorites are favorites. Do you have a favorite charge that you like to lay?
Yeah, but no, I
yeah, no.
no. You know what? No, it is as it presents itself, right? You go out every day and you see a whole bunch. You pick and choose what is relevant at the time, and the ones I like are all the dangerous driving ones. Well, the ones that can hurt, the ones that can kill somebody.
The big four. The big four are my big ones. I always say speeding and stunt, or speeding and stunt is usually related to speeding, not always. And then the distracted driving is a big one for me. I like writing those, and impaired driving arrests. Those to me I like taking those drivers off the road because they're putting people in harm's way, and that's just my thing. It's not about easy to write or hard to write. The ones I like actually are more work. But it's this whole safety thing. Can I have my front plate behind my windshield? No, your front plate. The rules say in the front of your vehicle in a conspicuous place. Obviously, it has to be clearly visible and legible. If it's behind your windshield, A, it's not the front of your vehicle, so already you've broken the rules. Secondly, it's now behind the window, so it's obscured. It's also not directed forward usually. It's usually on at least a 45 degree to the sky. It's not where it's supposed to be. It's additionally unsafe because in the event of a collision or even just through natural driving, it may shift. It may become a projectile within the vehicle, and it's not legal. So put it in the front plate. I don't know why people are so adverse or against putting it on the front bumper. People don't want boo-boo marks. They don't want to put the holes to screw things in.
Yeah, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but Ontario is one of the jurisdictions that requires a front plate. A lot of jurisdictions don't, and as such, they don't put a front license plate mount on their vehicle. So to install one of them afterwards, you actually have to go through the bumper cover, which some people don't like.
And some people just think it's not aerodynamic.
Well, if your license plate on the front of your car is what's
Slowing you down.
you're going too fast.
Yeah. When drag is your biggest problem. Am I safe now that stickers are no longer a thing? I don't know. Were the stickers coming to get you? The deal is that you're safe to remove them if your license plate is up to date. If you've renewed, if your system is if it's valid, then taking them off is no issue. They're no longer required. Although there's a little bit of nostalgia. I like that on my sticker.
Yeah, I noticed one this morning. This is my first one that I noticed without any stickers on it.
Look weird?
Brand new plates. You can tell by the issue series.
I was going to say the lack of peeling. Wasn't supposed to be that funny. No. But yeah, the deal is that speaking of peeling plates, it's a major issue. We have a lot of people, and a lot of discussion we had yesterday on yesterday's video about tinted plate covers. If you have a plate that's peeling, take it in, get it replaced. First off, it's illegal to have a peeling plate. It is not plainly not entirely visible. It's against the rules. You can get a ticket for $110. Replacing it may be free under warranty, and if not, it's $52, is my understanding. So either way, it's cheaper than the $110 ticket that you might be getting for just driving around.
And on top of that, we may take your plates out there.
Seizing plates?
If they are that bad and nobody can read them, then they come off and they come with me. And that way you have a tow truck bill to pay as well.
Ooh.
Till you get round to getting replacement plates on there.
Better to be proactive, get it done, and not deal with Sergeant Campbell taking your plates.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not just Sergeant Campbell. It's the fact is it's a major problem when people don't have plates that are plainly visible. And this comes down to whether it be license plate covers, frames, peeling. People get involved with collisions. Some people choose to run from those collisions. A vehicle that cannot be clearly identified or easily identified is a problem. We want to make sure that everybody is on an equal playing field and that there can be recorded, whether it be going through a camera, from witnesses, if it's an Amber Alert. There's so many reasons we need to identify vehicles. Let's all be on the same team. Let's make sure that they're clear, and then no tickets, right?
John, story, one of the license plates that I seized, the gentleman was very, very upset. And he was more upset that he's going to have to start paying for the 407 fees that he's been driving on every single day than the fact he has to go get a new place.
That's the reason. Because not cool. But you know what? I'm glad that he's part of the paying community now, or he's not using the highway.
There you go.
Okay. Sir Will says they've been driving with a T sticker for over 2 years. Did you make a video? I saw somebody with a video saying not only did they drive for 2 years with a T sticker, but they are also the recipients of a check for $140 or $160. Did I show you that video?
Yep.
Renew online. It may be free now to renew, but if you're still on a T sticker, it's very likely your vehicle's unsafe and not qualified to be on the road, and that's a bigger problem because if you don't have a safety, you're not driving.
And you know what? You have to have that safety, and it has to be a valid safety. It's valid for 36 days after issuance. So if I pull you over with a T sticker and you do not have a valid safety, guess what? You're getting an unsafe vehicle.
Ooh, charges.
Yeah.
And you may just lose your plates.
You definitely will lose.
It's an unsafe vehicle.
And guess what? It's unsafe. You're getting towed.
Yes. So I appreciate that you may have saved some money, but you have broken some rules. So you should correct that. So it was Sir Will 23. Okay, I'll just write it down. We'll talk later. Any laws putting underglow on your car? Underglow, there's no specific law saying that you cannot have it. However, if you are placing it in such a way that the bulbs themselves are visible and you're projecting light, well, that may be violating other rules. For instance, you can't have light other than yellow or white to the front. It becomes an improper headlight. If you are projecting more than 4 lights to the front, it's improper headlights, or actually there's a specific charge for having too many lights. But what I'm trying to say is it depends. I would also suggest, I'd suggest not using them because it's not 1985 anymore. Additionally, there are. I made myself laugh and I forgot my train of thought.
Colors.
Prohibited colors. Thank you. That's where I was going.
You know what? I've heard this once or twice before.
Yes. I would avoid, if you were going to put them on, avoid blue, avoid red, and avoid green because those are prohibited colors, or at least restricted for specific uses. Multi-lane roundabout. Can I pass an 18-wheeler? Can you pass an 18-wheeler in a multi-lane roundabout? It's going to be whether it's or not it's safe. I can't tell you on every one is.
So multi-lane roundabouts, the person on the inside has the right of way. If you are passing a truck on the outside, which is the outside lane of the roundabout, they have the right of way to change lanes in front of you. So you have to give way to them. So
I've never seen it in this country.
I've never seen a multi-lane roundabout in Canada so far. They may be there,
but we've never seen one.
Right. There are in Europe, in the United Kingdom, not only the multi-lane roundabouts, but there are roundabouts that are actually joined together.
Really?
Yeah.
Like figure eights?
So it's sort of like a figure eight.
Wow.
Absolutely.
The question is bylaw for being on your phone on red lights. It's not a bylaw. It is a Highway Traffic Act offense, and it's the same as if you're using it while you're driving, if you're at a red light, if you're even parked in a spot that's not a parking spot. So if you're in a no stopping or no standing zone, it's all the same. It is a handheld communication device. It is a $615 fine, 3 demerit points, 3-day suspension on conviction, and very much against the law. So don't use your cell phone unless you're legally parked. And if you are driving, when can you use your phone? Well, hopefully you have Bluetooth and you can actually answer using one of your remote control buttons. But if you were in such a way needing to answer it and it was mounted, you could have a quick button press to answer and a quick button press to hang up, and that's it. Let's see here. Hopefully that answers your question. If there's more, let me know. Kayla says, how many lanes to be a multi-lane? I've seen a couple of 2 lanes. Really? Have you seen any couple 2 lanes?
No,
No, we've not seen any 2 lanes. Kayla, where are the 2-lane ones? And James McDonald, how you doing from YouTube, says there's a multi-lane roundabout in Dieppe, New Brunswick. Interesting. Cool.
I will have to have a look.
We're going to go drive there and check it out?
You know what? We could.
On lunch?
You know what? I was in New Brunswick 2 weeks ago.
And you didn't report back on that?
Did not. But you know what? Google Maps, I bet you, is there right now.
You know what? Absolutely. We can Google Map it. We'll transplant. There's actually a hidden feature, I think, that you can drive in Google Maps. You can actually drive. There's a simulator.
Wouldn't that break your computer if you're driving it?
As long as you don't go over it. Ticketed 2 years ago, no court date yet. Is this normal? There was a tremendous backlog as a result of courts being shut down and not operating at a regular pace. You can imagine there's a lot of people violating the law, and the courts were down. So a backlog was created. I don't know how long the line is. I would suggest you reach out to your local courthouse or the courthouse related to your offense. Now, if you're in the City of Toronto, you can talk to the City of Toronto. Go to toronto.ca. There are links to instructions on what you can do to get information. So toronto.ca. And that would be what I would do. 2 years, is it normal? Not outside of COVID, but as a result of COVID, I think 2 years is probably pretty much where we're at.
Yeah, previous to COVID, the Charter of Rights, Section 11B, assured everybody to have a trial within a reasonable amount of time. There is case law out there right now that a reasonable amount of time has changed because the entire world changed.
Yes.
So what they have come up with, I'm not sure quite yet, but 2 years, I've certainly heard of others.
Yeah, you're not alone. But checking in is not a bad idea. Using your phone to pay at a drive-through. So handheld communication offenses apply on the highway, not on private property. So you could use your cell phone and hold your phone and actively use it in a drive-through to order and pay for your food without breaking the law. Is it safe? Well, obviously, it's less safe than if you were paying attention to what you were doing. And if you were to be involved in a collision on private property, you might be responsible for that collision as a result of using your phone, even if you can't get a charge for it. So, food for thought in a drive-through. This is fantastic. Does my dog count as a passenger for HOV lanes? Your furry friends and or fur kids, for babies, do not count for HOV use. But we've had the question asked many, many times. And while you're non-furry, and I shouldn't say that there's cats without fur, that those don't count, but children do count. They don't have to. Children count. They are human. The non-human passengers in your vehicle, as much as we love them, do not count for HOV. Yes, it's FriYay. Let's see here. What are the laws around beacon caution light yellow lights? So you have an amber strobe or you have a yellow beacon on your vehicle. What is it for? Is it different than having a hazard light? Not really. It's not a traffic clearing light. Can you be ticketed for using one? Can you be ticketed for using an amber strobe light on your personal vehicle?
No, unfortunately, you cannot. I have an opinion on it, and because I work within the towing industry, I've had lots of conversation. Tow trucks driving down the road sometimes leave their flashing lights on, and they're lit up worse than a Christmas tree.
They're blinding.
My conversation to them is, save your flashing lights for when there is a hazard and there's a risk to you or people around you. So you're servicing somebody at the side of the road, people see it, people slow down. If police cars, fire trucks, or ambulances just drove around everywhere with our lights flashing everywhere, it would become a regular thing and nobody would pay attention to it. And when the warning really needs to be put out there, nobody would pay attention.
See, it's very funny. I was traveling in the Middle East, and in the country I was in, every police vehicle, lights on all the time. 24/7, police vehicle moving, lights are flashing. And I thought this was really odd. And they said, well, we're telling people that we're coming all the time. If we're there and they know we're there, they don't do anything wrong. And it was an interesting perspective. But you're absolutely right. You water it down, the value of that information is less so. And this leads me into hazard lights. When it rains, when it snows, when it's foggy, there's a large number of people who think that this is an appropriate time to use their hazards to notify people of the rain that we're all having drop on our windshield.
Now, if the rain is causing environmental conditions so badly that you cannot see a vehicle, by putting hazard lights on, yes, you may be able to see it better, but you shouldn't be driving at the same time as when you cannot see.
Well, that's another thing. You need to drive for the road conditions, and putting your hazard lights on doesn't mean just keep going at 50, 60, 80. It means slow down because no one can see.
Right, but if you're continuing to move and you feel the need to put your hazard lights on because nobody can see you, maybe you can't see the other people either and should not be moving.
Yeah. Now, if you're pulled over to the side of the road, I totally endorse hazard lights. That makes sense because I would assume that a hazard light means the vehicle is not in motion. So when people are driving at speed on the highway with their hazards on, that's a pet peeve.
Yep.
How long after, we talked about this one earlier, but Will has asked again, and thus I assume there must be a reason. How long after getting my G1 can I get my G2? The answer is under no special training or no conditions, it would be 12 months. However, if you are taking a professional driving course, you can actually get that time reduced to 8 months. It's the bonus for getting good training, and good training is a good idea. Learning from mom, dad, or on your own is not something that I personally, no?
9 months?
8.
8 months?
8. You think it's 9?
Yeah.
You have children that have done it or recently. I'm pretty sure it's 8.
I thought they got 3 months off. And although I'm not great at math, I thought 3 off of 12 was... No.
Let's do the googly thing. How long after...
You know what? We may have to put this one up on the board.
How long after G1 to G2? 8 to 12 months. Your G2, yeah. We got to check. We have a running total on our board about how many times we have a difference of opinion and who wins. But
score 1 for Sean.
Score 1 for me.
That means you got 1.
I got 1. The board's blank, actually. We just have our names up there. We keep talking about it, but we never actually walk up with the dry erase and make the mark. But we threaten it all the time. Now looming. Okay. What is the penalty for driving an ATV on the road?
Well, you can drive ATVs on some roads.
Ooh. See, I look over because I know nothing about ATVs.
Yep.
Other than you can't have them in Toronto.
So nowhere in Toronto, nowhere in Durham region south of, I believe it's Highway 7. Peel region, I'm not actually sure about Peel region. Each municipality can opt in or opt out of having allowable vehicles on roads. Some municipalities put it out as a blanket none. Some municipalities that cater to tourism in that areas can put out a blanket every single one.
So it's similar to how the e-kick scooter rules are employed. There's a permission under the HTA or under the Off-Road Vehicles Act? Which one would it be? Is it HTA exemption?
Both.
Both. So both have to, and then each municipality adopts whether or not to accept it.
Yep, absolutely. So there would be a charge for operating on a prohibited roadway.
Operate on a prohibited roadway. Got it. Thanks. See, this is great. When Sergeant Campbell's here, we talk about off-road stuff, boating stuff, stuff I know nothing about, snowmobiles. Yeah, I got no. Hey, we also got Aaron Urquhart, who is here, and you've not been taking advantage of the opportunity to ask parking-related questions. So if you've got them, flaunt them, because we parking-related questions. Where did you go with that? No cop when fighting a ticket equals no ticket anymore. If a police officer is unable to attend court, they're canceled for an emergency or a reason, the court has the choice. They can put it over, but very often they'll dismiss the ticket. Now, we were talking earlier about viva voce evidence and the changes in some provinces to not require a police officer to attend. That would mean that the police officer wouldn't be required. The viva voce is they are able to proceed on the evidence in front of them that was filed appropriately with the courts. So therefore not requiring a police officer to attend. It takes away that roll the dice roulette chance of getting off the ticket based on the need of a police officer to be on the road. There's the benefit there. Additionally, we now have the ability of testifying remotely, which is actually unique. I've never done it, but it is interesting to be able to sign in electronically from our police cars, for instance, and testify. So that what is it? The chance of win for just rolling the dice is lesser now than it has ever been, and I think that's good because I think many people misuse that as a chance and putting it off multiple times. It's an abuse of the courts, in my opinion.
Sean, before you go on there, I have to say goodbye to everybody and tell everybody have a happy weekend. I have a training course I have to go to.
Oh, so enjoy happy training.
Thank you, and we'll see everybody Monday. Actually, you won't see me Monday.
Okay, we won't.
But I'll be back for Tuesday.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right, have a good weekend, or have a good training course, and then weekend. Let's see, we talked about this. What is it? Okay. Do Canadian agencies traffic brake? I don't actually know what you mean. So that must mean that we don't. I don't know what you mean. But ask me again in a different way, and maybe I'll have an answer for you. Rob Baker wants to know if you can drive snowmobiles on the beach in the summer. You just lost Sergeant Campbell, so 1 second too late. Sorry, I didn't look at your question. And I have no idea. But I'm going to assume that snow vehicles are not meant for the beach. But, I wait to be corrected. I have no idea. Oh, so new laws allow sober test, no reason after 10 p.m. ? There's no time thing. So there's something called mandatory alcohol screening. It's something that came into play, I think, in 2018 in December. And mandatory alcohol screening means that anyone can be asked, any driver can be asked to provide a breath sample without any need for suspicion of alcohol in their system. So I can make a demand for you to provide a breath sample. You're obligated under law to do that. If you refuse, it is the same as blowing a fail. So no reason required. Now, generally speaking, there is going to be some level of everyone I stop for a traffic offense is going to get alcohol screening. Every fifth car is going to get it. And it doesn't prevent us from using reasonable suspicion or the belief that there is alcohol in your blood, because we could go by way of that, not utilizing mandatory alcohol screening. So, but there's no time thing. It doesn't only kick in at 10 o'clock. It can be 10 a.m. It can be any time, 24/7. Empress is spamming. What is it? No, it's not spamming. It's just for some reason showing up twice. But they're different questions. They're changing ever so slightly. If I go to court to fight a ticket but no cop, that's going to be up to, we just talked about it, but it's going to be up to the courts. They could put it over. They could dismiss it. Very often it is dismissed. And that is why there's such an abuse, I think, of the court system. People think, oh, if the cop doesn't show up, I'm going to get up. Might as well take it to court. Well, that's changing because, again, we can testify remotely now. And we are obligated to attend court in relation to the offenses or tickets that we write. It's not just, do we feel like coming? We are obligated to go, unless we're required on the road or we're sick or something happens. And that does happen on occasion. Let's see here. What if you get pulled over for driving 200 kilometers an hour? Well, that's automatically stunt driving, regardless of what the speed limit is, because that's over 150 kilometers. If you hit 150, you are stunt driving, regardless of the speed limit. And but at 200, it may even be criminal dangerous driving. So it depends on the interpretations of the officer, the location of the offense. You know, if that was a 50 zone, I'm putting you in handcuffs. If it's 110, maybe you're just getting a stunt, but maybe you're getting in handcuffs. Maybe it was busy. Maybe you were driving in such a way that you were also creating a dangerous situation beyond that of simply speed. It all depends. But you know what? If you are driving at 200 kilometers an hour on the road, you're an idiot, and I have no problem saying that. Because yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Not only yourself, but you're putting everyone
You're-
else around
that's
you
exactly
at
it.
danger.
It-
How are you not scared driving that fast?
Well, no, there's something wrong with you. If you're driving that fast, not on a track, you want to take it to a track? Hey, it's great. We got paramedics there. You got safety crews. You've got nobody going the other way. But there are too many people, and we see too many deaths on our roads that are related to speed. So totally irresponsible if you're doing that, and you should not be driving anywhere at that. If you've done that, you don't deserve to have a license. Okay, at least unless we're on a track, because track's different. What is this? Why don't bikers pay insurance? If you mean cyclists, I don't know. A lot of people think that they should, and maybe they should. There's a lot of people who believe that. At very least, I think that cyclists should have some training, because there's many of them who don't realize that they have to follow the rules of the road. I know that because I've stopped a lot of them and ticketed them. They are responsible for the rules of the road and eligible for tickets under the Highway Traffic Act for violating those rules. Stop signs, signaling, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I actually just did a video on this on parking TikTok yesterday on pedestrian crossovers. Cyclists have to stop too there, and I see them blow past them all the time, and it's annoying as a cyclist. Very annoying. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, they make it's a bad rap for everyone. And
Exactly.
Jason Nathanson, you had a question last time that I was looking into, and I haven't got a response yet. But thank you for bringing it up, and I appreciate you coming back and sticking with us to get those. Again, we are going to get you an answer, but unfortunately, it won't be till next week. Do police ever have a targeted blitz to fine for illegally tinted windows? I don't think we've ever had a tinted window blitz per se. However, many of us stop and charge drivers for those offenses when we see them. Now, our focus is always going to be on the offenses that are specifically linked to the big four. But I will tell you that a vehicle that has super dark tint is unsafe for the road. We do take your license plates. We do send you away on a tow truck because you can't drive under certain conditions. For instance, front windshield tint, you can't have it. I'll take your plates. Passenger window tint beyond 30%, that's an unsafe vehicle. No problem taking your plates. It's not just a ticket and saying goodbye. But yeah, maybe we should have it. I think that's a good idea. Based on your suggestion, I'm going to write an email and suggest that we do a window tint blitz. I think that's a great idea. Don't know when it'll happen, or maybe it'll just be something we educate and suggest more people do. But I think it's important. Really good idea. Okay, is there a height limit for truck lift kits? The answer is 3 inches is what I believe we are looking at. The 3 inches lift kit without having special approval, I think that's going to be your limit. That's according to our friends who are mechanics who have that. Now, there's certain things that can be done, but you have to make sure that it's safe to do before you do anything. Okay. How much is a ticket for running a red light? I believe it's $325 and comes with a 3 demerit point situation. Okay. Looking for questions. We only got a few minutes left, and I want to make sure it's good. Can you carry dog self-defense spray in Toronto? You're allowed to carry product that is listed and labeled as dog repellent. You are only allowed to use that against dogs. If you're using it against humans, you can be charged for assault. Not just assault, I would imagine assault with a weapon. Okay. Do police officers have to do regular fitness tests? Annually, we have fit tests. We do requalifications, but no, there's no, at least not with Toronto Police, and I think federal police do. You have to pass to be on the road, but I don't know all the rules for everywhere else. Here, it's not a fitness test other than you can to get your fitness pin. Austinator makes a good point. Yes, even a pencil is a weapon. Can be if you're using it as a weapon. And Ostinator says, you are the best cop on here. Well, I'm the only one on here. Well, if you mean the internet in general, I appreciate it. If you mean on the screen, I'm the only guy on the screen. In a pool of one, you're the best.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Parking on shoulder of gravel road, is it allowed?
Depending on what the signage is there. I don't know if you're talking about in the city of Toronto. Like,
we don't really have any gravel roads,
that's
really.
what I mean. I'm like, I only see that in like the country or like outside of the GTA.
On the highway, for instance, you can't park on the shoulder. For an emergency, you pull over because it's an emergency. But if you're parking, that's parking on the King's Highway. I believe you can be charged for that.
Yeah. And so, or actually, no. So say like down by like Cherry Street, Cherry Beach and stuff. I've got a lot of complaints around that around summertime because the parking lot's small and people do get tickets for parking out of a spot that's not a
proper spot. Yes.
Yeah. So, and those are like $100 tickets. So yeah, it does happen in the city of Toronto.
But that's not a road. That's specifically to a parking lot.
Yeah.
Ostinator qualifies and says, I mean it because most cops are not friendly and you're very friendly. Well, thank you very much, Ostinator. I try. You know, and I want to say that we do have a lot of friendly cops, although it's not always, police officers aren't always meeting people in a situation where friendly is the most appropriate course of action. Sometimes we have to be stern. Sometimes we have to be professional, but not friendly because every situation is going to be different. Brad says, can your guest today give us a quick rundown of their job, shifts, and some of the best aspects of her career? We actually just did a podcast episode. If you go to Traffic, it's TPS Traffic Jam. You can get it anywhere that podcasts are available. You can, like Apple Podcast app, for instance. You can also go onto our YouTube channel, and you're on YouTube. So subscribe to us there, and you can go and look at the TPS Traffic Jam episode 3. That is the episode with Erin, and she talks all about her job. But there's some specific questions that we didn't talk about during that episode. So what's the best aspects of your career? And a minute and 50 seconds before Instagram Live cuts us off.
I know,
so thanks for jumping in, and we'll be back on Monday. But
bye, Instagram. Thanks for joining us. Sorry, you're not going to hear the rest of my answer.
Yes, tune in to the other channels to listen to it.
But yeah, one of the great. Actually, it's funny that someone just asked us questions because I'm just answering an email in regards to the same question as like an interview question. Anyways, some of the best aspects of this job one is I enjoy being outside, during the warm summer months and getting to ride a bicycle in the city of Toronto. I've gotten to learn all different sorts of neighborhoods within the downtown core. And when you work in those neighborhoods and you see the same people every day, business owners, residents, you become like a part of the neighborhood, even though you don't live there, you work there, and you make some really great relationships. And, a lot of the times this job can be very thankless, but, it's those special relationships and rapports you make with certain communities and people and doing what we do on social media. I love doing what we do, and it's really grown in the last couple of years with what we've are doing now and doing TikTok and podcasts and YouTube, like everything. So that's been personally for me some of the best experiences I've had. And yeah, just it comes down to the relationships that you make in this job.
I think what you're I think that this job is what you make of it. And there are people who come onto this job, whether it be parking or police, and every day is a great day, and others who come here and every day is crap.
Yeah.
And it really is attitude, and I
agree.
I think that's the big thing, is choose your own adventure every day. If you're old enough to know, choose your own adventure.
And also every day is different. Every day is never the same in this job, whether it's parking, whether it's police. And if you're someone who likes to be, on your own out there on the streets or just in general, and not, be in a team environment all the time, parking is great for that because I'm out there, but you again, that's where the relationships come in. You're not just out there by your lonesome self all day. You talk to hundreds of people on the daily. So
every day can be different.
Exactly.
And I love that. And this is one job one career with many jobs. People start as parking enforcement officers, end up as police officers. I started as an auxiliary officer, became a court officer, did both for a long time, and then transitioned to police officer. And you know what? This has been an adventure. Every day is an adventure. Even now that I'm doing this TikTok stuff and in social media, it's never-ending change, and I love it. I love it. That is all the time we have today. Brad, you had the perfect way for us to outro. Thank you for spending time with us. We'll be back on Monday. join us because we'll be doing this all over again, answering your traffic and police questions on Ask a Traffic Cop.
Have a good weekend.